Will and Steve, welcome to the Wine O'Clock Show.
Cheers, Sam.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Happy
Cheers,
Friday.
Steve. Yeah, happy Friday.
Yes. Now, boys, welcome to the show.
Thank
It's
you.
been a big couple of years for you both since winning My Kitchen Rules in 2015. It was pretty ballsy that you left the finance world, bankers, and moved into becoming chefs. What was the decision in that process?
He didn't have a say in it.
Oh, did he? He was
I
just
think
told.
the truth is that we both got made redundant, and I was seeking to kind of create a business in the food industry. And whilst doing it, I got approached by a producer from Channel 7. So I then needed a good, solid guy to go, on the show with me, and couldn't find anyone else. So I fell back on Will, and he said yes. Although he didn't. He got a phone call from Channel 7 that he didn't know about. And then he had to just play along with it.
I had no idea that this application form had gone in on my behalf, and the call came out of the blue, and he's filled out an entire application form.
Is this for the MKR? Yeah.
And I had to take this phone call and answer all these questions. It's like, yeah.
But of all guys who could roll with that, he was the one, I think.
Yeah, it just went with the flow.
Yeah, that's
What
it.
was your decision about, I guess, coming from England to Australia?
Oh, that was, for me, the bank was relocating roles. I had a couple of issues in my personal life, and I just needed a big sea change. And so I asked around, and are there any opportunities anywhere in the world, or even staying in London? And then an old colleague of mine said, how'd you fancy coming to work for me at Deutsche here in Sydney? And so it was like, you go away and have a think about it over the weekend.
Yeah.
It's like as if I need to go and think, And I've never been to Australia, and it's been a remarkable experience. Like, I've never looked back, and I was welcomed, and I'm sure Steve will agree, welcomed with open arms by the Aussies. We've been very, very lucky. Like, you guys are phenomenal people.
Yeah, we're pretty laid back.
Yeah, and I had a similar story, same bank, same rotation, but my hand shot up the first instance that someone asked me.
Because you'd travelled it before, hadn't you?
Yeah, I'd been through Australia, so I knew how amazing it was. I knew the culture of the Friday beers and those sort of things, so that was a big lure for me.
Friday, 1 o'clock.
Well, of course, yeah. I mean, that was when I was younger. Now I've progressed onto the hard.
Well, it's a bit more refined now, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that.
Your hair is. Have you had it done for this show?
Talking of hair, yours is getting long.
Isn't it?
getting
I'll
long.
have a ponytail soon.
Boys, you obviously then you applied for My Kitchen Rules in 2015, and you
2014,
won.
I think.
2014. What were the pros and cons about being on a reality TV show like My Kitchen Rules?
I had no preconception of it. I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know what it was going to be like.
We'd barely watched the show.
And we just felt that all we can do is go and give it 100%, try our hardest, and have as much fun as we possibly could along the way. And it was far, 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 far better than any expectations that I could have ever, or we could have ever.
Imagine.
Look, I think the cons is obviously the pressure.
I went great.
He went great, aged 10 years. But honestly, it's a pressure like you will never experience. I don't think real life can ever put you in the same situation.
I had to live with him for 4 months.
And I think that, those sort of pressures in your life are, you can't replicate that. You'll never be in a situation where it's called sudden death. That's not a normal thing.
You've got like 30 minutes to make it.
I'm going to get a t-shirt
and
printed up.
It's really hard to explain, but imagine doing a job that you'd never done before and then having to pretend that it's the normal thing to do, Like, none of us were qualified cooks. None of us had cooking lessons or gone through any sort of qualifications. So we really were just thrown into the deep end, and then you had to just scramble and wing it and do everything you could to convince not just I guess the whole, machine that is MKR and the viewer, but you think at the time about the viewers as well. There's going to be 1 million people watching.
There's people like, I guess, Pete Evans, who cops a lot of flack in the press about his beliefs.
He does.
What do you think, what are your thoughts on I guess, a chef's belief?
I think it's great that he's got a belief and he's sticking by his guns, and he's commenting on what he believes is good. I actually think that what he's saying isn't too bad. Essentially what he's saying is try and eat healthily. Eat fresh meat. Eat lots of vegetables and seafood and things. And
And cut back on processed foods. It's not rocket science.
Isn't it?
I can't say myself that I follow the paleo way, but I've got nothing against it. And at the end of the day, it's his opinion. I've got my opinion. Will's got his. Tam, you've got yours. And I think that if we all respect each other, we don't have to follow the paleo way. He's just putting an option out there for people to take it, and a lot of people have, and a lot of people have really kind of benefited.
They
from
have.
it.
Like you look at some, like I follow him on his Facebook page. Don't want to give him too much airtime. Sorry, Pete. But he's got some. You know, look at some of the success stories of what they've achieved, and you can only got to take your hat off. For Pete to encourage those guys to go that direction and stick with it, and for the individuals themselves that have said, right, I'm going to do 10 weeks, I'm going to stick to it, and they're the ones that deserve as much credit, and that's I guess what Pete tries to showcase on.
But what I love about these controversial chefs is the fact that they are controversial. Like it's everyone's got to see it for what it is. They're just being clever with the media. They're saying something provocative to create a reaction, which essentially pushes your profile up.
Yes.
You know, we're waiting for our moments to be controversial. We'll bet
I've got some photographs of that. We're just saving it.
We'll pop them up later.
Yeah,
But yeah, you know,
depending on how many of these he has.
yeah, we'll turn into that. I enjoy it. I enjoy all the kind of quirks and ideas of different chefs because you can learn from everyone.
Everybody unique though, isn't it? If everybody was the same, it'd be dull, wouldn't it?
Do you guys still get mentored after the show's finished? I mean, Pete and Manu are such awesome, and Colin, you know, such awesome chefs here in our country. Do you still get mentoring from them?
We're very lucky to have a personal relationship with Colin and Manu. It would be more professional with Pete because Pete's a businessman. He's got his own thing going on, so there's no harm in that. But I think we know that we can call Manu and Pete anytime we want, whether we want to go for a beer or we're thinking of investing $1 million in a restaurant.
Yeah.
Probably call Colin for that one.
And where did you invest your $200,000?
We don't have that.
On the stock market.
If anyone wants to send it through. But you know, I think they would always be there for us. They'd always give us the right advice because they've got the experience, and we're very appreciative of that. And we will support Colin and Manu in anything they do.
Yeah, I mean, they're like Colin's, obviously 414 restaurant is going great guns. They just had a refit down there, but the staff are amazing. The food that they knock out is terrific. And Manu's he's got his pop-up going with his duck in, duck out, which we were very kindly invited to the opening evening of that, which was terrific.
We got to judge him.
We got to judge him.
Oh, did you?
We got to judge Manu Fidel.
The tables had turned.
Yes, it's payback time.
Yeah, exactly. We were nice to him though.
We were, because the food was
incredible.
excellent. Yeah, it's really, really good.
Boys, you've just brought out your first cookbook, which I must say you've just won Best TV Chef Cookbook, isn't it?
In Australia,
in Australia in the Gourmand Awards.
Yeah, how exciting is that?
So now we're going up against Marco Pierre White
Yeah, we've got no pressure there.
Mario Batali in the US. So it's going to be a tough gig to pull that one off to win it globally. But
you can do it.
We're so happy that there's been some recognition because it was a lot of hard work. It was a very unique idea where we showcased how you could use ingredients 2 different ways.
Yep.
You know, mine would be the finer dining side of things, more technique driven, and Will's would be more home cooking, you know, one pot, slow cooked sort of stuff. So, and then we have the development points between going from a much more simpler dish to a more complicated one. So we really wanted to educate. We wanted to have Q&As throughout the whole book. The blurbs, every single one's original.
Yep.
It was really a lot of heart in that.
I'll just bring up the book now so you can all have a look.
If we can all have a look at that.
No, don't get rid of the good looking one.
What do you mean? No, that's on there, Tam.
What can people expect from your book that sets it apart from, say, every other cookbook that's in the market at the moment?
I think Steve's just touched on it, actually. It's very much, as the title tells you, it's the home cook and the aspiring chef.
Yep.
I am very much a home cook. I'm nowhere near as gifted as Steve is in the kitchen. And he has, I believe, the ability to become a chef. I could, perhaps in about 20 years. The masterclasses throughout the book really demonstrate that. And also the bits where we do have the 2 separate ingredients, or the same ingredients but 2 different dishes, really emphasises that home cook, aspiring chef ethos that I guess that we sort of have. So that's probably what we think sets it apart.
We back that up with masterclasses throughout the whole book. So we take things like focaccia and chicken liver pate or parfait, and we break them down into much more simple, easy to follow guidelines and methods. And I think that we've thought about this book not from our point of view or my point of view. We've perhaps thought about it more from the public's point of view. what do you want to cook on a Tuesday night? How achievable is it? Where can you get the ingredients? You know, everything we've got in that book can be sourced from your regular supermarkets. You don't go to Peru to search out a bean that have to soak for 2 weeks.
Rare,
Some unicorn piss, as Will loves to call it. You know, it's an achievable book. It's got great diversity.
Yeah.
You know, we were born in England. Our heritage is British, and that's a backbone in the book of what we rely on and what we love. And then there's influences from France, where Will's parents live.
Yep.
Obviously, you've got Italy and Spain so close to us. So we benefited from being in such a cultural melting pot, just like Australia is.
Yeah, yeah.
And now Australia's influencing us. So.
Like the Q&A, I think, again, is sort of differentiates it a little bit from other books, coming back to the question. And it's those questions that I genuinely asked when Steve was teaching me to get me up the curve enough to go on and be part, as we were going through the competition. And it's hopefully the reader will feel comfortable and not feel shy to put your hand up. I don't understand that. That hasn't worked. Why are you using this cut of meat and not something? And it's
Mine doesn't look like the picture.
no, but exactly. And I love that. There's a show on telly called The Checkout, and they show that like you buy the pre-made meal. And it's got the beautiful photography at the front. It's like there's what it should look like, and then how it actually
looks
turns
like.
out. And it's exactly like that.
Yeah.
But everyone's ovens are different. Everyone's like heating their pans or non-stick. There's all of these different variables.
Yep.
Like how hot is it outside? Like for my
And that makes a big difference when you're making pastry.
Yeah,
and
it's
things like that.
huge
People don't
difference.
understand that.
yeah.
Yeah,
And so my mistakes and questions and his guidance hopefully will, I guess, help the reader to feel a bit more confident in the kitchen themselves.
Yeah, yeah. Where do you see Will and Steve, the gourmet chefs,
The gourmet pommies.
gourmet pommies going from here?
Look, we're absolutely striving for a TV show. We think that we've got a very, very unique offering, being like, you know, British boys in Australia, and we are the best of friends, and that's you can't really fake that. You know, we drill each other, we annoy each other, we do as in we take the mick out of each other, you know, and we accept that. We know each other's faults, we know what annoys each other, and I think that creates a really good relationship and something especially to watch on TV, combining that with food and adventure. So, you know, that's definitely our golden goose.
Are you looking for a resident chef? Resident cooks on the 1 o'clock show?
Well, next week you boys are coming back to cook for Mother's Day.
But, you know, until that happens, we're going to work hard to make sure that our brand can align with other brands. You know, we're heading off to Tasmania soon to do some work for Uncle Toby's. We're working to create a cooking school, a pizza franchise. We've got a beverage coming out called Social Tea, which is a sparkling green tea, sweetened with natural fruit.
There's heaps going on.
Yeah,
so
doing
much
some
going
work
on.
with P&O, so we're off doing a few cruises with those guys on their food and wine, which obviously you'll be interested in.
Well, a good friend of mine, Kim McCosker, who has 4 ingredients, she does the P&O. Yes,
amazing.
she's fantastic. So she wants to know what your best 4 ingredients. She said she promised she won't steal it. But
Oh, come on, love. Nice try. Now you've got me a bit tipsy.
I've got you drunk and I'm going to get you. I'm just going to type this while you're speaking, just so I've got it all.
Key ingredients.
Do they have to work together to create something?
Yeah, so she has 4 ingredients, so every meal has 4 ingredients in it.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a tough one on the spot.
Can we make it up between ourselves?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm going to go for like beautiful sweet cherry tomatoes. And I think when you combine that kind of thing with
garlic straight away.
Garlic and some herbs, and then have a pastry base, you know, you've got the most simple but beautifully tasty like tart. You know, and I don't think food should be more complicated than that. You take a couple of ingredients that really work well together, that are fresh and seasonal, and then you can present it in a very simple way, and then you've got a delicious dish. Yeah.
Still look like you're a winner.
Yeah.
Guys, we had some viewers.
Good answer.
Yes, good one.
Steve's the food director of the business.
We had some viewers pop some questions in this week when they knew they were coming on the show, and some of them are a bit of MKR Mythbusters, true or false. So I'll read them out.
We'll see what we can contractually reveal.
Yes, what you can reveal and what you can't reveal. And I guess MKRs are now over for another season. So let's talk about a few of them.
Everyone's going to be missing it already.
Yeah.
They do.
Many viewers hold the opinion that MKR is viewed less for cooking skills and more as a gossip and conflict. True or false?
I've got to say that's got to be false because obviously we won the competition and
it was all based
it
on
was
food.
all based upon food. But you can see that there's certainly an element of drama, I guess. I don't know whether it's the pressure of the competition that drives people to want to nitpick and things. Obviously, everybody's in the competition to win it, and they will.
Do you think they look more though now at whether you can cook or whether they can bring some drama and cook?
Oh, I think that you need to be able to really cook. Like if you look at how the series concentrates, reduces. If let's imagine it's making a jus.
Yeah.
We started off with the stock right at the beginning. There's like lots of fruit and veg in big.
There's some useless bones and there's some rubbish in there which we can get rid of throughout.
Like, we don't want any food waste. So we've got the tops and tails and everything in that, and then we're going to start to ladle that in slowly and cook it down till it becomes thicker and thicker and thicker. And you look at the top, I would actually argue sort of 6 to 8 teams in there can really cook.
Yeah.
And they really can.
True or false? Contestants are sent to cooking school before MKR starts.
False.
Absolute
And it annoyed me because
Absolute
I wanted to go
bollocks.
to cooking
This is
school.
all we wanted to get out of it. That's the
That is the
Yeah,
honest
damn it.
truth.
They
I
don't
was
send us
like,
to
when we
cooking
signed up, I was like, I cannot wait to actually learn some good stuff.
We're going to get sent to Paris. We're going to go.
Yeah.
If you'd seen my pastry ability, did it look like I'd been to cooking school?
Contestants sometimes don't cook in their own homes. Is that true or false?
Oh, we didn't.
Didn't
like,
you?
No, we live in an apartment. Like we're in this beautiful apartment here.
Yeah.
And my apartment, I would probably say, is a quarter of the size of this. There is no way you can have 12 people around for dinner, 14 people around
Yeah.
for dinner. And
So where do they do?
well,
You have to
Steve-
find a house. You
Yeah.
have to find a friend's house or a relation's house that works for you. And I think, and you know, most people were lucky enough to find that, and so are we. But I think the majority of people do cook in their own houses. But I think if you
Yeah, I
watch
think-
closely enough, you can tell when people aren't cooking in their own homes because
They're looking for something.
me, for instance, I ended up using, you know, a salad server
Your
with a
mate hasn't
giraffe on the
forgiven
end
you
of it, with, you know, to plate up. You know, it's because I couldn't find any other spoons.
Yes.
I mean, like,
We left his house in an
So you'd
absolute
never have a
tip.
giraffe.
no,
It was
in
so
your own.
funny. It was like, get me. This is, I was like, I've got nothing, man.
here's a draft spoon.
The final dishes are actually cooked by chefs. True or false?
That's ridiculous.
where does the shite come from? I'd love to
No,
know.
like we cooked 100 dishes for the final
You could call
across
us chefs if
5
you want.
hours, I think, and it was one of the hardest things we've ever done. If you had chefs cooking that stuff, like what would we do?
Yeah.
I think people think there are a lot of fake things about the show, and in all honesty, there is nothing fake about it. Like we are put under the most unbelievable amount of stress. There is, you know, there's tears, there's blood, there's people walking out. Couples don't end up being friends. Like it was real. It was.
Yeah.
It was
It is.
incredibly real.
The clock starts and it counts down and it stops.
Yeah.
It's not paused. It's not
Yeah.
changed. There's no.
So when you've got 3 hours to do something, you've
You've
literally
got
got
3
3
hours.
hours.
We had
Yeah.
5 3/4 hours to knock out the 100 serves
Yeah.
for the grand final.
Wow.
And boy, did you feel every minute of that.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
when my wife came in during this was in the grand final, and I was peeling Jerusalem artichokes. Now I don't know whether you've seen a Jerusalem artichoke. It's like a really, really knobbly bit of ginger, right? And I had something like 80 of these fuckers.
I only needed 40, but I just wanted to keep them busy.
Yeah, and it's just there, and all you can see is me frantically. If you caught me from behind, you'd wonder what I was doing. And there I was, and Maggie comes in and it's like, oh, I love. But you can't stop because the clock's still going. It's like as much as I haven't, and I saw Maggie 3 times in the 4 months of filming.
I heard that Pete and Manu don't actually sit at the dining table.
Oh, they do. He played footsie with me for most of the
Did he?
for most
that
of the
they go
evening.
off set and then they only come back on set when the food's about to come out. Is that true or false?
They sit at the table for the vast majority of the time. I think when there are prolonged periods of time, they get bathroom breaks and all the rest of it. But the vast majority of the time, they're with you dining. It's like a dinner party.
Yeah.
But I think the reason why Manu and Pete and Colin and guys, they do go off the table is because as soon as they go, everyone relaxes
Yeah.
and things are said that possibly shouldn't be said.
Right.
Arguments happen,
Yeah.
people get drunk, and you know, and they probably go upstairs and watch on the monitor and watch this unfold, which is genius because as soon as they walk in, everyone's sat back up.
Yeah.
Everyone pushes the
We're
wine
very
away,
serious.
The teachers are just
and
walked
you
in
start
with-
talking like you're on MasterChef.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Boys, do you want to play a little game?
Oh, I'd love to.
Absolutely.
We usually play a little game called Never Have I Ever here on the 1 o'clock show, and I'll give you some little panels. Have you played?
No, I haven't. I've
You
definitely
have
watched
or
it on the
you've
1
never?
o'clock show, so I know the gist of it. I love the 1 o'clock show.
Oh, fantastic. We love you too. So I'm going to ask you some questions.
Piss off, I told you. He will beat me up with it later. And then I'll have these little dimple marks
You'll have
all over
I
my
have
back
written
and
across your head.
Yeah.
I've got a
Where he's
feeling
whacked
this is.
you.
I've got a feeling
Hang on
this
a
is going to be a
minute.
disaster.
Didn't this, you've got a couple of these in your bedroom, haven't you, Steve?
Yeah, just the plain black ones.
Yeah.
Spikes.
All right. Now, if you've got some good little stories that go along with these questions, we do like to hear them too. So, never have I ever done a nudie run.
I've never done a nudie run.
Steve, have you?
That's because he's hung like a mule.
I wish.
They call him tripod at the football club.
No, I think I've been naked on many occasions, and
Is it a,
when
is it a
to be
pommy
honest,
thing?
is it
A pommy thing? To
No,
do
I don't
nudie
think so.
run?
I think it's just a boy
Clearly
thing.
Just a
not.
boy thing.
Yeah, it's a boy thing, and it's a very odd. I think I've been away on like football trips, and someone has come in. Like, it's been up on the Gold Coast, beautiful mansion, and someone will come in who lives up on the Gold Coast, who's heard we're up there, come for a beer, and there's 20 lads sat around playing like a game of poker, half naked or naked, and it's just
Strip
like,
poker.
why is this
I
happening?
would be asking a lot of those same questions, Steve.
Yeah, it's like,
Just
why
with
is this
their
happening?
socks on.
Yeah, exactly. Just one sock, but not on your feet.
Football sock, obviously,
Yeah.
not like what I'm wearing under here.
You're not an anklet.
No,
you know?
you wear a pop sock.
Pop sock.
Never have I ever sent a rude photo or raunchy text to the wrong person.
God, I'm
Ooh,
boring.
Wrong person.
To the wrong person. You're making me.
Oh, I've definitely.
What
sent...
about that one that you sent to Mark Collins? That wasn't
Oh, yeah,
you, though,
yeah,
was it?
yeah. No, I did send that.
But it wasn't you.
Well, no, it wasn't of me. No. It was of someone else. Yeah. No, I think I've even sent like Will like a real lovey-dovey message.
Oh, yeah. I've definitely sent the wrong
Yeah.
message, but not raunchy. Tackle in on that one.
Never have I ever stolen something.
Oh, I steal all the time.
Oh, yeah, I have.
What did you steal?
The crown of my Kitchen Rules champions. How on earth how did I ever burn and set the fire to the studio and cut myself as much and then still win?
Coles and Wolves are going to be after me for
yeah.
this, but I'm a big ambassador of trying before I buy. So, anything that I can get into.
Chocolate,
Grapes. Try not to break the packaging, but if
Right.
it's open, then it's fair play.
Yeah.
You
It's like
always
one of
try
those-
the fresh fruit, the produce, and I have to walk in the other direction because I
Do
honestly
you
think the
agree with
alarm's
that
going to
though?
go off.
Do you think you should be able to try a grape?
I think you
Not
should.
like
Yeah.
hoe down on a pear or an apple, but
Oh, I
like,
just still don't mind that.
Really?
Like, I think that
Give 'em the
if I'm going to buy,
we just
there
cut
are
this?
bins. There are bins around the supermarket that allow you to put stuff
just
like
weigh
that in
this
there.
one. I've eaten it, but
Yeah.
just put this with my other apples.
Yeah. No, I think the fresh fruit, because I think Wolves do the apples for kids, which is great.
Yeah.
But I'm still a child, so I take advantage of that.
Never have I ever taken food out of the bin and eaten it.
I think we did that on MKL.
No, I think
And
that
I
was
will
that
not
semi-final
be
dish
eating
you
in your
tasted.
restaurant anytime soon.
Have I ever taken it? Oh, actually, I have. Working for Oz Harvest.
Right.
And I was working for Oz Harvest, driving their vans around. Just after I got made redundant, did a bit of volunteering, and then they took me on as a van driver. And I was slightly late to a very reputable supermarket chain for the standard pickup, which was normally around 10 to 10:15. I was running a little bit late. It was 10:20, and the geezer had chucked everything out in the bins, the whole lot. And I was like, "Have you got any stuff?" He's like, "No, got nothing." I was like, "Well, nothing at all for the whole week." It's like, "No, nothing." It's like, I chucked it out. And so I went over to a wheelie bin, a big wheelie bin, and unloaded the whole lot that he had chucked in the bin and put it in the boxes. Now, if I showed you a photograph of this produce, you would murder the supermarket.
Was it like all like brand new stuff? Wow.
I could get them. I'll show you the photograph of it. It was impeccable, this stuff, and it was an absolute disgrace.
Because the
So,
only
yeah,
reason it's being thrown out is because more stuff's come in.
Yeah, so
Right.
they need to get it off the shelves and
it's-
out, and we're ambassadors for Oz Harvest, and we
Yeah.
try to educate people. But if I showed you, and as a consumer, where you're spending a lot more money every week in the supermarket, but they're actually just binning this stuff, it's awful. Sorry, a little bit serious there,
Yes.
but I have eaten out of the bin.
I just did it because I put it in there and it was a mistake and I got it back out and I ate it, like, I'm not fussy.
Never have I ever dined and dashed.
I've never done that. Is that where you
Where you
go?
eat and you
eat?
forget
Oh
to
yeah,
pay.
I have.
Oh God, our reputation's in tatters.
Yes.
No, I have, and it was in.
Oh, I
it was a
haven't.
place called Fino in London.
Yeah.
They did the best blackened pork belly I've ever had in my life. And in between main and dessert, the fire alarm went off.
Oh.
And the maitre d' came around, apologised to everyone, and the fire alarm was going off in Rocker, their sister restaurant. And he just said, "Look, it's going to be a couple of minutes. It won't be a problem. Your desserts are on the way." 2 minutes went past. He came back and he basically said, "You know, I'm sorry, it's going to be an extra couple of minutes." And he said, "Oh, we will understand if you want to leave." And I was like, "Girl, get your coat. It's a £200 dinner. We're having that for free. See you later."
I've actually got a similar story to that, so I'm
There
going
you
to
go.
switch me
Yeah,
back.
yeah, yeah.
He acts like he's an angel. But
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
not.
He's not really.
No, this was obviously you'll be able to relate to me here. It was an all-you-can-eat Pizza Hut buffet lunch, and exactly
Our reputation really is in tatters.
Exactly. And I was only like 18 or 19, and exactly the same thing happened. The fire alarm went off, and they just said, and one of the guys at the table was like, "Well, I haven't eaten all I could possibly eat." And like, he was so full, and they're like, "Off you go."
Never have I ever been in handcuffs.
Never,
Disappointing. I'm so annoyed that I haven't.
but in the bedroom.
Yo.
Oh, good point.
You know you got your
You
hand up.
furry ones.
No, I've never actually. I'm disappointed that I haven't. I've even tried to get myself arrested at
Why
times
do you want to be arrested?
because I've never been arrested. I think you should experience all things in life.
Well, I reckon if this goes to where someone from Coles or Woolies, it's going to come round to you and say, "Get in the back of the van."
Possession of
We'll
grape.
get you some handcuffs.
Yeah. Oh, I've got some new material for you.
Yeah.
I went for a hearing test yesterday, right? And in one of the sections, I have the hearing of a 60-year-old man.
A 60-year-old.
A 60-year-old man.
What do you mean the section? Like, as in the whole section,
So,
like both ears?
so what it was, right, they do this thing and they test everything, and at certain ages you develop certain, like have you been to loads of rock concerts when you were younger, exposure to loud noises and blah, 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 blah. And so there's this pronounced V shape in the bottom of my graph. A 60-year-old man. I knew you'd love that. I really am his dad.
That's good. That's
Very good. Boys, we're going to cheers because that's it for this
Yes.
week.
I
You will
wanna
be
come
back.
back again.
You'll be back next
Yes.
week doing the Mother's Day special.
I might have to wear the same clothes
Yeah.
though. I'll
Is
put it
that
out. I'll put it out.
You
your
only
Yeah.
have one outfit, to be fair.
Cheers. Thanks
Cheers.
for coming
Cheers,
on.
Dan.
Pleasure,
Amazing.
Sam. Thank you
Now,
for
where
having
can
us.
people buy your book before we go?
Anywhere, but our
All
website.
good.
probably.
Yeah, mostly from our website. We send it off to you, and it's going to be signed, personalised, but all good shop.
And
all
one
good
says Maggie, but
bookshops
you know
and
my
some
name's
bad ones
Tamara.
too. Yeah, we've got one for you.
We've got a special one.
Thanks, boys. See you
Pleasure.
next week.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye bye.